Filming video announcements at church can be incredibly useful in making sure that everything is communicated well and that it's all cohesive. Over the years, I've been adding to and getting rid of some of the stuff that I use for my process. And I wanted to give some tips and tricks on what I do and also kind of go over a little gear that I use for our video announcements. If your church is looking to do video announcements, I would highly recommend it. It is incredible. It makes sure, like I was saying, that it makes sure that everything just sounds cohesive. Everything is kind of get out all the information that you need to. It's all the important information. And then you can cut out all the like ums and anything like that if you do video announcements. It's really hard to do that whenever someone's live. So that's why we do our video announcements like that. First, let's go over the gear that we use. We don't have a big extravagant setup. I don't use 15 cameras or anything like that. It's really just a one camera rig that we use with a teleprompter and a boom mic. But I'll go into more specifics of what we use. I've done a couple videos about the gear that we use, but I'll break it down in this one as well. But first, we use an A7 IV for the camera, uh, and I usually will have a 35 on that. So for the lens, we use a tripod, and then we have the teleprompter, which is the most important thing, I think. An iPad. We use one light, so the newer lights that we've been using in all of our other stuff. We just use one of those. Sometimes I won't even use them, because just how our church is set up, it's pretty bright in there already, so I might not want to light them anymore. This past news that we just shot, I needed to light her up a little bit more because I was shooting into a kind of a darker background. But I didn't need five lights or two lights. I just needed one to just get her one side of her face so that you get that contrast on the other side. We also use a C stand, and attached to the C stand, we have the Zoom recorder, and we put our Sennheiser's Mic 600 into that. So that's how we get all of our audio. But yeah, that's kind of what we use. It's a pretty easy setup. It's not very hard at all. Uh, the iPad is for where we put our script. So we have everything scripted onto the iPad, and then that projects onto the teleprompter so that people can read it, look into camera, and not be looking at down at like a piece of paper or anything like that. Just makes it way easier. The teleprompter that we use is a newer one. It's like the brand newer, not like newer, but a new the new brand newer. So it's a newer brand teleprompter. Now that I got the gear covered, let's go into some of the tips that I have found over the last couple of years shooting our video announcements. So the first thing that's up on my tips and tricks is find people who are comfortable on camera. Don't just give it to anyone. Have people try out as well. So I have some people who have been like, "Hey, we want to try out news, or we want to do news," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm going to give you a social media post that you're going to do. I'm going to set it up how we do our any type of news that we do or any type of video announcement. I'm going to set it up just that way, and you're going to do a reel or not a reel, a social media post. And if you're comfortable on camera doing that, which is like a 30-second video, then I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll put you onto the rotation of our people that I get for news. You just don't want to find someone who you think will be confident on camera and then they're not confident on camera and then you're stuck with them. And yeah, you can tell them, oh, sorry, we're just not going to be able to use you. But I put in the effort to record them and they came. I felt really bad. I would feel really bad just not using them. So I found that to kind of counteract that, what I do is I now have them try out for news by doing a social media post that if it doesn't work out, I can just not post that social media post. And that was kind of two tips in one. So that was find someone who's comfortable on camera and also have them test out do before you just have them do it. But the third one is so I kind of hinted at this, but how we do news. And this is the third one. And what a tip that I would give is record that whole month of news in one sitting. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes for someone to sit there and read through the month. We make the scripts not very long. They're about a minute and a half each. Some of them, well, really, they're like from a minute to like 2 minutes, just depending on what's coming up. Like these ones coming up for April have been a little bit longer because it's Easter. So you just want to make sure that you're, I would say, instead of doing it week to week, if that's how your church is doing it now, try writing out, take that little bit of extra time, write out the whole month of scripts for the news, and then filming your news that way, so that you're not having to find someone week to week. I was doing it where I was finding someone week to week, and it was getting stressful because I had to have news done by Thursday so that everything could be put into the systems. No one's at the church on Fridays and Saturdays, and some people would be like, "Oh, can I come in Friday?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, sure," because I'm desperate and I really need you to do it. And it's Wednesday and you can't make it. Now you have to come in Friday. And it just became this stressful thing. So what we started doing was we kind of sat back and we thought about it. And we're like, hey, why don't we just take that little bit of extra time? My wife writes the script, so she writes the whole month. Her and her dad, who's the pastor, look over them, make sure that everything's good, and then they're like, "Okay, Anton, yep, come in, film whoever," and they just do. They take, it's literally 15 minutes of their day. They'll come in and they'll film that whole month, and then I have that already downloaded and ready. So then whenever I go into edit, I don't have to. I can edit all of the months at one time. It just makes editing and your life so much easier. So the fourth one is kind of self-explanatory. I feel like everyone should be doing this, but if you make sure that you're setting up before your talent comes. So like if you know that they need to be there at 10, get there at 9 and set up your news. Don't set up while they're getting there. So I always try to give myself like an hour, and that's just because I have to get everything, and I'll get everything, and then I kind of do some work in between. So an hour usually works. Sometimes 30 minutes. I mean, just get there a little bit before you know that your talent's going to be there. Figure out how long it takes you usually to set up, and then adjust accordingly to how long you want to be there for. So yeah, don't set up while they're there, because then that's kind of wasting their time. They're taking their time out of the day. Usually the person who does news for us 95% of the time is someone who is just volunteering. It's no one who's on staff or anything like that. So I don't want to take their time. So I want to make it as quick as possible. So I always make sure that I have that set up either the day of, or I'll set it up the night before. And then five was kind of what I already said. It's just to make sure that if you do the step three, which was to record all of them at one time, then edit them all at one time. Sit down after and have them all edited. And then you don't, that's one thing that you don't have to worry about again. And it doesn't have to be the full edit. I'll edit it down to where I get out all the like ums and cuts and everything like that. And then all that I have to do is add my B roll and my music, and then I can export it. And that takes about 15 minutes to do those two things. So I try to make it as simple as I can for myself, so that in the future, whenever I'm at that point, I'm not, that's just one thing that I can be like, okay, cool, let me just do that really quick, and then it can just be sent out, and I'm not having to really sit there and edit it. Filming our video announcements has been incredibly useful for us. I mean, it has really just made it where we're not having to have someone come on stage and speak, because sometimes some people are long winded. This is a way for us to kind of control that, make sure that everything that is in the script is said, make sure that it is concise, that it is communicated well, and we can kind of, you have a little bit just more control over it. I know that some churches might not want that. They might want that person to be on stage. That's totally fine. This is just what we do and why we do it. But yeah, if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments if this was if y'all shoot your church's video announcements on video, or if you have someone who does it from the stage, and what kind of gear you're using. I'd love to know. I'm always looking to upgrade our gear. And like I say here at the end of all of our videos, don't forget to learn, create, and inspire, and I'll see you in the next one.